Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Let's Look at This. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. We are here back. I've been a little bit in hiatus for a while. She had some personal things going on, but we back. We back. We are back. And my co-host is joining us. P. Minister P, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes. Dr. K, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear. We are
Right.
on live right now, Minister P. I went ahead and got started. We're expecting maybe a second possible co-host, a fill-in, if you will, just for a little small period of time.
All
So
right. All right.
until if she comes on, we'll wait. We'll wait in the back and see if she shows. But we're gonna move right along and get things rolling. Good to be back. Good to be back and ready to roll on the show. Um, I welcome you all to Let's Look at This, where we say the things to help dispel inferiority, regain confidence in our authority. We want to open up all eyes wide shut, give it to you in a raw, unfiltered, uncut. From mental health to black wealth, we dismantle indoctrination by having the hard conversations that we usually have on this platform. Some topics you may dispute, except the ones you shouldn't refute. We must continue to buy black and put our dollars back excuse me, in our communities. Inspired by our brother Harold Davis. I am your host, Dr. K. Wayne. Welcome in my co-hosts.
Yes. This is Minister P bringing you peace and reality. And I want to say good morning to all of my brothers and sisters in the Black community. Listen, don't forget the struggle.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Our show today is brought to you by Wakana. Wakana for Life. It's sponsored by Wakana for Life CBD oils. Keep that same energy. Wakana.com. Go there to get your health and wealth and your mental uh, strength back from these products. We definitely welcome you all to please support these sponsors and really
Yes.
our sponsor, and please get all your tools you need to gain your confidence back within. All right. Let's get started, Minister P. Let's make this thing move along and get this thing moving.
Yes.
So, what we did, we left off um, roughly around last time we were on, Minister P. We left off around before the George Floyd case started, the incidents that may have happened during that time. Looking at the Derek Chauvin trial, dealing with
Right.
that aspect of the law, and just paying attention, looking into that, and seeing the outcome of those of the trial itself. And then, we have to encompass in all the things that happened with the trial, family being paid out, the jurors, the everything involved in that whole trial, which even the public watching it makes a big difference. How people were perceived to have even watching it. So, we have to make that be a priority in the
Yeah.
reference to our community. Um, we can't be celebratory with the outcomes of what because essentially, in my eyes and how I look at it, here's an atrocity done, and this atrocity, of course, we state his reference to justice. Justice is supposed to prevail. You do something, sue someone, the same process should be done unto you.
Absolutely.
So, as we look at that, we definitely should be. Uh, thank you. We definitely should look into the aspect of how we carry this. Just thinking about this case, it creates a whole mindset as reference to our community and as reference to how we should deal with the public.
The public and our so-called law enforcement. I mean, let me give our listening audience and our visual audience a little update on what we're talking about. We're talking about the George Floyd case. George Floyd was a 46-year-old Black man, and he was murdered in Minneapolis, Minnesota, while being arrested on suspicion of using a counterfeit $20 bill. And this was on May 25, 2020. And he was murdered, again, I say murdered, by Derek Chauvin. And here's the disgusting thing about it. That he was murdered in broad daylight under the apprehension of being arrested for doing something illegal. This was a murder in broad daylight, clear before all society. And it was a grievance to all law that we stand for. It was an atrocity. Um, you know, one of the things that impacts us so traumatically, Dr. K, is that it had ramifications well beyond just what happened right there in that case. This is reminiscent of the constant struggle that goes on between the uh, white and Black race. There's always a struggle to put the Black man down, to handcuff him, to encumber his movement. Um, and one of the things that really got to me as we go further is the amount of time that this murderer got for murdering George Floyd.
Yeah, he received, I want to get it correct, 22.5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yeah.
Which, easily can be, even if he's spending that whole time, of course, all the appeals and all the so-called good behavior, that time gets cut down, it gets cut in half to almost nothing. So, here you're talking about 22.5, that ends up possibly being 12.5 years. So, and then even if that, they'll keep appealing it over and over and over down throughout the years. And again, we can't be celebratory as reference to the outcome. So we can't celebrate so quickly. Let me say that as reference to when it comes to they're passing a bill. They passed the bill for the George Floyd bill,
Right.
which only states that they can't use certain tactics, but it still doesn't stop certain other things from happening. On how when you become an aggressor to what would be law enforcement, and it's reference to our people. We shouldn't have to be to the point where we have to, again, as I said before on some previous shows, Minister P, we have to not for the purpose of anyone really to that aspect, but it's the purpose of ourselves, maintain our emotional side when we're dealing with certain instances. We should maintain our composure, maintain our emotional side, and use tact in how we deal with the outcome, because that could easily, and that's no matter who you're dealing with, we need to really deal with our emotional side. But some of us tend to forget that. But it's just all in the process of educating yourself properly on that. And the end, if it's maybe possibly a meditation process to be able to curtail your emotions.
Dr. K, I mean, that's it. Listen, we always have to understand the componency of education in our cycle of growth in the Black community. Education is so important. Um, you always, me and you always talk about this: education and economics. Those are the two pillars of the upward growth of any community. And so we as Black people must educate ourselves as far as what is going on. The Bible says, my people perish from a lack of knowledge, a lack of education, a lack of understanding what is really going on. And one of the things that me and you talked about before was really understanding what happened in this atrocity, in this murder. It was originally ruled as a homicide caused by asphyxiation due to neck and back compression, leading to a lack of blood flow to the brain. Now, one of the things about me, Dr. K, is I love UFC. I love mixed martial arts,
Right.
and they have a hold in mixed martial arts. It's called the guillotine, and what they do is
Right.
they put that hold on that neck, and then it puts that person to sleep. Okay, so and then the referee comes in and calls the other person the victor. Well, in this case, that was applied by the knee, and over and over and over, and there was no resuscitation of George.
Well,
When he went out, he continued to put that knee on his neck to totally kill him and murder him. And it was a killing. But like you always say, we have to understand um, the different levels of the word murder. And you and me, we were talking about this earlier. So I just want to read the diction. The law dictionary, the definitions for the word murder. Uh, it says it murder is the unlawful homicide, unlawful killings of another human being with malice after thought. Then it goes into first degree murder, which is often defined as unlawful killing that is willful and deliberate and premeditated. Then you have second degree murder, and we need to understand these levels. Uh, Second degree murder is the unlawful killing of another person with malice,
mhm.
afterthought, but without deliberate and premeditation. And you have manslaughter. One of the things that you said to me after we discussed the different levels, you said, Minister P, it's all murder.
Right.
And that stayed with me right there. It's all murder. It's all the taking of a life.
Right. Yep.
And that was the atrocity that occurred here, and it did not have to occur. You know, um, I look at it again as the emboldenment of a person in broad daylight to say, yes, I'm on the authority because of my society to take this person's life because he's not going along with quote unquote rules.
Well, it's well, just to chime back on what on the time or the knee being in the back of this former officer, Derek Chauvin. that was done as well. There was holds applied previously to the from the other officers. If reading the whole case
Yeah.
and reading the report,
Yeah.
there were other officers who had done the same. And then, of course, Chauvin he comes in with the ending of that. They didn't hold the knee to the back as long, but he was held down for some time, and who knows what damage they had made done even at that point. And then, of course, Officer Chauvin coming in to complete the process. But then, we go into the aspect of asking why does this continue to happen, um, and then we have to look into the aspect of the uh, Dred Scott decision. That comes into play all the time as reference to when it comes to law.
Yeah.
Stating, as we stated before, that's a process stating that, in layman's terms, and basically what it says stated in that case, from the Supreme Court, Chief Justice Taney stated that no white male or man has no bounds to respect anything that a black man will say or do. So no matter what, to me, in the eyes, just that, even all cases, not just this George Floyd, this was just the camel that broke, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. And if here again, there were so many cases that even after that, there's been so many incidents. We'll say incidents, not cases, but incidents that happened after the George Floyd that we have no knowledge of.
Absolutely.
But in the case of our dear ancestry brother Dred Scott, um, that particular case having no completion to it up until this time, in the year of 2020, of the incident of George Floyd, and then here in the year 2021. So we have to use the mind in a sense of, to come up with vast solutions, and we got to be quick on some of this stuff because, of course, time increases on life, and then as we look at time and we look at people who have walked the earth before we have, and incidents happening, greater atrocities during the time of that. Because again, Minister P, I've afforded the opportunity to see all of my grandparents and even
Wow.
great who were born in the 1800s.
Mhm.
So that,
Man.
and there's so many other people that have, but they don't. Most people don't. They hear these stories, but they don't take it to heart. And then look at the time span. Again, we try to measure greatness by entertainers. That's how we're measuring our making progress, by
Mm.
entertainment. and
Mhm.
and that's, I don't think that's how we should measure. We shouldn't even measure by even the success we have, because having success don't mean that the issues outside the door has been completed.
Let me say this about that, and this is good conversation here. Yes, I mean success does not determine the conclusion, but it certainly determines the soon approaching outcome, because each step that we take towards getting our equity and equality is a step in the right direction. Even with the George Floyd Policing Act, barring no choke holds and barring no knock warrants. Well, before that, we didn't have it. Now we have that.
Just to interject right there,
Mhm.
what most people would ask the question, why would they have taken so long?
Absolutely.
This is
It,
not the first time that this incident has happened. So you wait till 2021 to come up with an act?
yeah, yeah. It's definitely unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but then that is the reality of where we're at. So we must. So should we stop our momentum, our progression. No, we have to keep fighting, keep fighting. One of the things and you know me again, I love UFC and boxing, but one of the things that in the Ali Frazier, the third bout,
Mm-hmm.
Ali said this was the next thing to death that he felt. That
Mm-hmm.
battle was so strong and so long. Uh, he said he felt like death was on him. And he said that, but he refused to give up. I just think, man, if Muhammad Ali had given up and Joe Frazier, the greatest of all time, come on now,
Right.
Joe Frazier, no, you cannot be the greatest of all time. But Muhammad Ali said, the floor is no place for a champion. And so he continued to move forward. And so that's the same thing with our calls here in society. The ground is no place for a great people like us. And we will continue to fight step by step and never give up, never get up, give out, never give in. And the thing is, the cycle of society that we have is the reality. We got to see the reality first. Okay. Then we realize, okay, there's the reality out there. Now we got to find a solution. Well, what brings us our solution? Education. And so here we have it. We have the reality. We have a need for solution, and then shows like what you have and other shows uh, bring the education to the Black community. And man, I'm loving it because I'm seeing there is progress coming. Is it slow? Yes. Can it be faster? Yes. How can it be faster when we all think alike, more than just a few? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
You know, and so it's happening. It's happening, man. It really is.
Yeah. It's you're right. It's a slow process, and it's so many people see it in different ways. We
Yeah.
have a lot of we have a few experts out here who are on the front line fighting on the behalf of blacks.
Yes.
I would put us there myself,
Yep.
even with the small audience that we may gain. It's not about the number and size of the audience; it's about the impact.
Right. That's it.
That's how I look at it.
I'm
All
loving
this
it.
popularity. I don't down any of our brothers and sisters trying to get a
Impact.
platform, but we still have to be mindful and watchful of a lot of these platforms that go forth because what is the real goal? You have our dear brother,
Mm.
Kwame Brown, with his platform, which is, I applaud him, but what is the is a, and not saying that it's a popularity thing, but it could be perceived as such. Um, Looking at some of these platforms that's out here, people using it as a comeback to entertainment, more or
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
Uh, so us, we're not doing this for entertainment. This is for real.
Yeah. I like
This is
that.
real,
This is for real.
real, right? So again, I still applaud those platforms. I even another brother who's this really kind of odd that he has gained a platform, and I applaud him as well. Luke Campbell. I don't know if you're familiar with him in the street.
Hmm.
The one who had the raunchy back in
Yeah.
the '80s, the '90s, the rap stuff, which may have been popular amongst even my age group and yours. But needless to say, this brother has left that legacy, of course, to the younger generation to pick and bite off of. And of course, he's headed in the direction of kind of on the same path if we're looking for solutions,
Yes.
which is wonderful. I wish I could have those two individuals or even other individuals to join us on this platform. That way, we can um, pull a greater aspect of a think tank together. That way, you know, here we have somebody who's formerly from the entertainment, both those brothers, and somebody that would be as ourselves from the
Oh,
grassroots.
absolutely.
So um, it would only to me create a sense of awareness for more people, for more of our people to gain a footing and a foothold in society.
And
So keep,
unity and strength. See that
yeah.
there's
Oh yeah.
strength in numbers. There's strength in numbers.
Yes.
There's strength in the same ideologies, same focus, same cause, same cause, man. I mean, listen, you have to live. If you don't live for a cause, your life is not manifesting anything. You're just existing.
Yep.
No, man, listen, my life is here for a cause, for a reason. And it's not just about us, it's about our future generations coming up after us. See, uh, listen, man, it's all about that struggle and unity.
What legacy did we leave behind for our youth?
Mm,
You know, a lot of our youth now is somewhat frustrated because they're wandering around trying to figure out what has happened. Um, not saying I don't take anything away from Dr. King, even Malcolm X, having or anybody who in that time frame were trying to, they did lay some form of a platform down, but um, it didn't truly resolve some of our issues that we still have lingering. If anything, it created more of an aspect to open up to everybody, when everybody hasn't really suffered the atrocities that we have
oh,
suffered.
absolutely, man.
So we can't get on this everybody, even though we don't. Again, on this show, and I'm gonna make this clear, and this is the last time I'll say this: we don't incentivize hate,
Yeah.
right? And I'm the last. That's the last time I'm gonna say that, minister, because with us, I don't, no way in no shape I want to sound as an apologist
Yeah.
for something that happened to my ancestors.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And I'll use this as for somebody to come to me with that. I'll invite them to go straight to hell. Just as
Yeah.
simple as that. Because uh, I don't bite my tongue when it comes to something or even forget. People say, "Oh, I need to forget." Yeah, we can forget the aspect of what happened, but we can't forgive the aspect of there was no restitution for what happened. Because
Right.
what we discussed before, there's still somebody out there getting uh, a benefiting from what happened to our ancestors. Most people don't understand that there's a benefit of somebody that's somebody still benefiting from slavery, still being able to enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Dr. K, I look at it like this. No, I will never forget my past. We cannot forget our history because that's our history. Now we we understand it, we research it, we acknowledge it, and here's the key. Here we go. We learn from it. I look at life like this. uh, it's a relay race. And so, in the relay race, the first the first ones they start off run real good. Then what do? They hand it off to that next generation.
mhm,
They run theirs, and listen. In each section of that race, there's extenuating circumstances. There may be a wind flow that first generation is handling, has to deal with, wind flow troubles and atrocities.
mhm.
Then the second generation might not have to go through the atrocities, the lynching, the beatings, and all that. But there's some troubles, there's some wind drifts that they got to deal with as well. And so in this race, we're all dealing with some type of uh, setback or some type of opposition, but it's a race. So listen, in a race, what do? You do your part. You cannot let down the other personnel in that race. We can't let them down. So we look at the ground that our previous generations gave us, our ancestors gave us. We look at that, we learn from it, and then we do our job, our race. Then we hand it off to the next generation. Hopefully, we've done enough job to get them going, and they can continue up to speed and even do better.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. I said this, as we talked before, that's that bridge that we that's there, and it's the a bridge that is built always needs some renewing, restructuring, and remodeling.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're remodeling the bridge that was laid before us. So it's a continuous process. We don't tend to want to take a break from the remodeling process.
Right. I mean, we have to extend that bridge on out. We have to build on it.
Yeah.
Like you said, we have to build on it. We have to do our part. That's why I don't understand lazy uh, people. I don't understand lazy people. Get up and get
Mhm.
involved.
Oh, right.
Do your part to
Right.
help.
But see, when you look at that, Minister P, that's what has been snatched from us. When we once were the laborers laboring for free, and then when we had this wealth in labor, because that's our wealth was in the labor. We were the laborers, the builders, the architects. So to take that away, of course, only came about doing the integration process and the separation process of us. If you take us and we are scattered everywhere, right? We're not in the one aspect of a locked community
Like we used to be.
like we used to be. I mean, you would just, for example, if you compare us as we would perceive our community up against a Chinatown. No comparison,
Hmm.
because we don't have the marketplace locked. We're not locked in our community. We reside somewhere, right? We reside at a location, but we don't have everything locked in our community. We have what they would call the black church, but we have so many in one location, and everybody talking about different things instead of one thing, but supposedly worshiping the same God, but got different messages across the board. So that right there shows you a split. And then when you narrow down to politics, well, I'm a Republican, well, I'm a Democrat. Instead of saying no, we're gonna bring this together, and we can be whatever we want to be because we have the numbers to do so. So we have been conquered and divided in so many different ways.
What do you think it is that we need other than we know we have our church? I mean
Hmm.
that's a given.
Right.
What else do we need as a Black community to to gain ground? I was thinking we need banks. Banks. See, if we can get that money, and instead of putting the money in, what is it, Chase Bank, what are these other banks? All the all those other banks, Midwest banks, and all that
Midway,
stuff.
yeah, all these
Yeah, and
U.S. Bank, Us Bank, and Bank of America.
right,
And
you
then if
know,
you when you research those banks, Minister P, you'd be shocked who actually is the owner.
hmm,
Even though we tend to gravitate towards them because of the popular aspect of them, and then we'll say quote unquote the trustworthiness in this bank.
yeah.
Um, you're right. It, it's still not there as reference to we have a few out here. This is what we call black banks, but um,
But
and
are
does and,
they?
and and it doesn't have to be the black bank. It can be we. I mean, that can be an aggregation across the. Hey, here's the bank that is owned by somebody that is black, but we welcome anybody to come in and
Right.
and create and have an account. So not just every because we'll talk about Bank of America. As far as cultural group, which is culture, white Italians have they own Bank of America. So so in that point, the Bank of Republic, that's mostly a white Hispanic. Those are institutions that are owned by a particular cultural group. So if we're a group as far as race, like the black race, where's a bank that okay, yeah, black bank, but everybody can belong to it if you choose to. Just
Absolutely.
because they say, well, we have an interest in their community, as well. We have interest in yours. But to be quite frank, Minister P, to say this quite frankly, and I don't, again, don't bite my tongue, white, greater society, which will be white, the white human race, they are not suicidal, they're homicidal, meaning they're not going to kill themselves in the process. They're
Yeah.
not going to kill their movement.
They're very careful about that, very
Oh yeah,
deliberate
definitely,
about that, very
definitely.
purposeful
Hmm.
about that. And
Yeah,
everything is set up towards that and has been for the longest.
yeah,
Why? And here's one of the reasons why: because they have that education, they have that knowledge of that system. One of the things is, if you can break into the knowledge of that system,
hmm,
listen, it's just like this, okay? Once you get a degree, that degree doesn't know any color, gender, ethnicity, uh, eh, historical background. That degree knows one thing: qualify, 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 and
yeah,
that's all that knows. And so the same thing is with this knowledge. Once we get this knowledge of this system that operates, called capitalism, or I like to call it capitalism slash greed, um, because that's really what it is.
yeah,
Once we tap into that, we're tapped.
yeah.
We're
We are
tapped.
tapped, but we need to tap all the way in.
Yeah,
That way, if it doesn't, again, we don't want to, like you say, we don't want to be greedy, but we want to have an abundance, so we can, even though in society, and that's why we touched on mental health, which is still this whole platform, mental health,
yeah,
black mental health at that, moreover, mental health amongst the human race. Um, we need to pay attention to that as far as reference to getting back to the capitalists and having an abundance of such thing. Of course, we don't want to be to the point where we push out us first. Of course, we take care of us first, and then anybody else who needs the help. That to me is justice. Looking at the person who needs the help in the room, the greatest, the person who needs the help the most. We have to be mindful of that. But see, that's the whole process of when we talked about this race that's being had by society. Um, is why these exist as reference to black and white, and why they give a race, because there is a race going on. Who can get to the race to the finish line to gain all the resources? That's the race that's happening.
yeah,
Even though it didn't need to really be a race, but somebody came up with that concept to have a race.
yeah, yeah.
So thing is, when you get to the end of the finish line of the race, yeah, okay, if you win, you win, but do you become a supportive aspect of who's coming in next behind you? That's I
That's a
mean,
good point.
yeah, I
It's a
mean, if I'm
good
the
point.
champion,
Yeah,
if
that's a
I'm
good
the
point.
champion, I'm not gonna tell you how to beat me,
Yeah,
but I'll cheer you on and
right.
say, hey, maybe you will find the solution to beating me at some point one day, but
Yeah,
I'm not gonna um I'm not gonna use a savagery mindset to say, well, I'll kill you first before I let you win.
right.
Like I'll give you a little hint and pointers on maybe how to beat me. See,
Yeah,
take it from
yeah.
there. But other than that, it shouldn't have been the aspect of well, we're gonna get to the race by any means, and then once we get there, we'll stay at the top, and then we'll kill anything that maybe even come close.
Well, we know that's
That's
the mindset of one of the participants in this human race. We know that is their mindset. That
oh yeah,
is
without a doubt,
what they do.
without a doubt,
Yeah.
without a doubt, that definitely is the mindset.
But that's not our mindset, man. Um, our mindset really is to uh, help each, well, and should be to help each other in this race that we're on. Uh, Listen, let me tell you something about a race. In a race, you use up an enormous amount of energy. Uh, in a race, you have sweat and tears. I mean, in a race, there's fatigue sometimes, and you need help, and there's constant motion, and a race, you really have to be fit up here in your heart and in your spirit to run that race and help others out, man. And that's what we're doing. Platforms like this, that's our mindset as we go in and out of society, walk up and down the streets. I'm constantly telling people about a different mindset, how to live victoriously in our community, how to grow our community, how to educate ourselves and see the reality and bring about solutions.
Oh yeah, definitely having solutions. Definitely having solutions to the problems that we have. Um, so yeah, we definitely have to be a continuous, keep it in continuous motion
Mm,
of of,
yep.
of being in a mode of problem solving. I'm not saying that you're going to get rid of every problem, but if you can put a cap on it and know how to deal with the problems that arise, then I think society in itself will be uh, greater than what it is now.
Yeah.
So today's show is brought to you again by Wakana for Life CBD. Get your CBD oils. Go there and spread your wings and spread your mind with Wakana with the CBD oils. If you feel it in your mind and heart to be able to support us in any way that you can, please do so. It's much appreciated. We would love to. We are moving these efforts to be able to
Yes.
actually position ourselves to get into a home that we can call our home. So we definitely would love your
Our
support.
studio.
Yes, yeah, definitely our studio. That way we
Yes.
can have a multitude of our people that are that is on the um, KTSE radio. We definitely want to be able to have a congregation there to where our people can we can
Yeah.
have a day that we can call a KTSE Media Day, where
Yeah.
it's for the it's one of those days where it represents the people and we can get together and talk about solutions and talk about good things that's happening and come up with the problem solving. Having being able to have that at home. It's nothing like having a home. It's one thing, of course, due to this circumstances that we're in, that great society has us wrapped in.
Yeah.
I won't say any names. Everybody knows what we're in, but please do support us. Cash at KTS Media, and I invite you to tune into us as you see scrolling across the bottom there. You can tune into us there during any time the stations. You have Minister P himself, which he will be airing. He airs from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Um, with
Tune
that
in tomorrow.
platform. Yep, that's his platform tomorrow. He definitely will be on there with Peace and Reality, having his platform, bringing the word with
Love
Love
that
at
word.
Work Ministries. And on Thursdays, you can definitely tune into our wonderful host, which is out. Um,
Yeah.
it's Jay Reese. It's lovely Jay Reese. She's bringing the aspect of the grown up talk, coming up with solutions on that and bringing up other issues that may be aspect in the grown up aspect of the personal, we'll say the personal life, but it's still all grown up radio on her show. With it's the Fresh Air Show. She airs from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Thursday evenings, and we have a
Yes.
newcomer who was actually supposed to join us this morning. She may join us on our platform at 11:45 today on my show. Let's look at this, Miss Dr. C. Marie. We would love to have her.
All right.
They call her the boss lady. So
Mm-hmm.
it would be nice to get her perspective on our platform and to see
Yeah.
what she has to bring as reference to bringing solutions as Jay Reese does. Not saying she's going to be a replacement, but she will be a fill-in. So
Yes.
um, definitely look forward to that. But yeah, tune in to us on coming up actually in the next 20 minutes or so. We'll be getting ready to move in that direction. And thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to be back. And I'm we definitely going. I'm a little calm today, but I'm gonna definitely be bringing the pressure as we move on. Um,
Yes, and I just want to say this to Dr. K and his family. We give our condolences to you and your family, and may peace reside in you all's hearts, of the family.
oh,
Um,
thank you
yeah,
so much. Yeah, anybody who didn't know, man, I lost my dad a couple of weeks ago, and he definitely will be missed. Great inspirational person. He was very inspiring. Gave me some good knowledgeable tools in life, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
definitely have become um, in his likeness, a spitting image of him. But he has put me in the world to be him and greater than him as he
Amen.
put
There
me.
it is. That's
Yeah,
it.
so
That's that torch.
yep, that legacy and that torch that I need to carry on and make this thing work and be a part of creating something that society would be able to hold on and be different other than what greater society and media is creating for us. About people going fine that we go to the moon, make that journey, but we got a lot of work here, right here on this green
Right.
grass to do, and trying to find
That's
some
right.
other space out in outer space and on Mars and some other place. We got a lot of issues now here that needs to be resolved. Once we resolve the
Right.
issues here, then we can fly out of there and whatever they want to do out there and float around and have a good time. Then once you get rid of the issues here on this planet. So I thank you for joining us this morning, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Well, you'll hear us in a few minutes on our platform, WKTSE Radio. And the link is scrolled there if you definitely want to tune in. Um, I know we are recording and live recording, pre-recording. It's almost as if we're in between the two. But in any case,
Exactly.
you please tune us in there at any time and point of the scheduling times that I've mentioned. And as a matter of fact, let me mention that again. Who's the Dr. C. Marie was supposed to have joined us today. Her show comes on at Mondays. So Mondays, I think she may be ready to go. She had some scheduling issues last Monday, but she should be ready to roll. On Monday, she's at 5 p.m. to 5:45, and she'll be talking about some real estate tactics that people can utilize and be able to grasp. And if you're in
That's
that
good. That's
area
good.
of real estate and investments, she should be able to guide you in a good direction as she has, as we utilize her as well as her expertise in what we're trying to do.
And we
So,
need it.
oh yeah, definitely. So we will hear you guys. Tune into us soon on WKTSE Radio, and see you guys in a minute.
Peace out.